James, one of the topics we've heard today is the transformation of the regulators. It's also a trend or an important topic at the Central Bank of Ireland. Can you tell us about it, please?
Absolutely. It's a very important topic, I think, for all regulators, but in particular at the Central Bank of Ireland, where we have transformation as a key part of our overarching organisational strategy. So it will ultimately impact on all the sectors we're responsible for. But in terms of the fund sector, I think it's important to think about why we're making the transformations we are. It's for a couple of different reasons, but obviously last year was an interesting year for the asset management sector. We had two significant events. So one, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and then we also had the UK debt crisis, which led to some issues. So what that means, I think, is regulators have them at the forefront of their minds and are also looking at the pattern over the last number of years. So in the last 15 years, we've had three systemic events in terms of the Great Financial Crisis, COVID, and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And while the fund sector wasn't responsible for those issues, regulators are very keen to make sure that there isn't a potential that the sector could amplify shocks at times of stress. So in the case of the Central Bank of Ireland, we've made a number of significant transformations. One is setting up the International Finance Division, where we will be leading out on developing a macro-prudential framework for the non-bank sector. That's very important for us because we think it's really important that funds and the non-bank sector generally has good resilience prior to a crisis occurring, so we can actually be able to withstand any crises that might happen in the future. The other changes we're making are to the fund supervision division. What they'll include are bringing together fund management company and fund supervision so that we're more directly targeting management companies following a number of changes over the last few years. We'll be much more focusing on supervising the investment funds via the management company. The other changes we're making are more of a focus on cross-sectoral supervision, with a thematic program of supervision being undertaken over the next year, and we plan on carrying out a number of them in addition to ESMA common supervisory actions, which have become common over the last few years. And finally, the other change we've made is in relation to my own area, where we've brought together all authorization activities for funds and fund service providers into the one area. That's to continue the progress we made last year on being very clear with our expectations, transparent about them to stakeholders, and also being open and engaged with applicants who apply to the central bank for authorization. So lots of transformation underway, and I think that's a common theme for all regulators at the moment.
Thank you very much.